speaking of Jake Paul, because you just mentioned that, he's fighting a real boxer now. I mean, he's fighting Tommy Fury, and Tommy Fury is 7-0, 4 knockouts. I mean, this is a legit boxer. You know that he has good boxing skills and potential because you've seen the videos. You know his management. You give me your take on this. What's going to happen? Because he's actually, for the first time in a while, even against fucking Tyron Woodley, he's actually coming out as an underdog in this fight against Tommy Fury. What are we going to see? Are we going to see him be able to last against a real boxer, especially of that caliber, 7-0 undefeated? Or are we going to see, what are we going to see? Are we going to be, just tell me what we're going to see in general, how it's going to go. Are we going to be impressed, or is he going to get exposed, or is he not ready for that level, or is he going to surprise everyone?
Well, I think, okay, if you really study boxing, you see with Tyron Woodley, Woodley would technically look better. He just wasn't active enough.
Yeah.
And that's kind of, to be honest with you, that's kind of one of the items that not the items, but one of the things that his coaches knew. They knew that he doesn't pull the trigger. He's just cautious, and
they counted on that.
He'd come out there and he got hit with a good left hook when he was going good, then he stopped his action. So they knew that Woodley doesn't put enough pressure unless he's got a good opportunity. He'll wait. He'll wait. Tommy Fury, he's not going to wait. He's coming.
He's coming. Yeah.
We'll see what happens. Also, too, one of the biggest things that people don't understand, and you will understand because you fought and you know what it's like. That was the first time that Jake Paul's fought with that many people in attendance. Okay, now you're the main event and you're fighting a legit, Hall of Famer, who is still a badass.
Yeah.
In front of 18,000 people.
It's tough.
You know what you're going through, the nerves you're going through, and how things are going to be given out on you.
Can imagine.
Everything that poor guy went through, he went through, and nobody realizes that he was going through a hell of a lot, and he still prevailed.
Yep.
Because Woodley should have took him out.
Yep.
And he almost did. But he stopped because he got hit with that left hook. So Woodley stopped because he knew, okay, I don't want to get stupid and get knocked out. But what I'm saying is, the next time you see Jake Paul, he should be better because he's past the nerve stage. I know it happened to me. When my first fight to my last fight, it was like, wow.
Everybody, yeah.
You want to be in there. You learn to deal with the nerves. But, man, Jake Paul's been thrown in the limelight right away. He's been put in front of all the people in the head main event. The last time was not, to me, the same because the crowd wasn't there. This time the crowd was there. So I think I had a big impact on him. This is what I think. And I think he wasn't relaxed enough, and I think it cost him because he made a comment about his legs were gone. His legs were gone. And I said, oh, okay. I already knew what it was from. You said that, I already knew. He's never been exposed to that kind of pressure.
Right.
Like a lot of people, they think, it's just fighting this fight. No, it's not. Tell somebody to go out there and sing or do public speaking in front of 18,000 people. See what happens to them. Shit their pants, piss all over themselves, can't even utter a word. It's crazy.
Have somebody put pressure on them while they do it, and then try and jumble them up and everything. Yeah. That's 10 times worse.
Yeah, so
it's draining.
Woodley's already experienced that. He's experienced all that crowd. He's experienced that, so it didn't faze him at all.
Yeah,
but Jake Paul, that was his first foray into that kind of people main eventing, and now you have a legit badass against you. Because come on, man, Woodley's a badass.
Yeah,
and if they fought again, I don't know what would happen. Woodley might knock him out. Might not knock him out. I don't know. I just know Woodley didn't fight proper. He needed to do more of an output. But I also know Jake Paul lost his legs. And I know why he lost his legs because, he wasn't used to that. And I know he's going to be a lot better the next time out. And Tommy Fury, I don't think very much of him. I think he's okay. He's definitely not his brother. I think his brother might very well be the greatest heavyweight of all time.
His brother's crazy, yeah.
He's totally on track, but I don't know about his brother. I don't know if he's the same as Big Brother. I don't know. I mean, we'll see. You did hear Big Brother say if he loses to Jake Paul, he's going to take his name away from him. So that's how much he feels about, Jake Paul. They don't think Jake Paul's that good, but I think they'll be shocked that Jake Paul is fairly good. And this is more likely where he belongs, in the pro range. Somebody that's a decent boxer, not great boxer. Tommy Fury, he's still learning the craft. He's still learning the craft. He's not a seasoned veteran by any means, and he's not a champion by any means. And whether he's a champion or not, this fighting Jake Paul isn't going to prove he's on his road to being the champion. He still needs more experience.
Yeah. So what do you think is going to happen? Who's going to win this fight?
I can't go against Jake Paul because those are my buddies. So
you gotta go with Jake Paul.
I just, that's what I do when I know somebody. I stick to my friends, even though they may not win. I'm gonna go with Jake Paul.
Yeah,
but he may not win. But I'll go with Jake.
Well, you've been my friend, and you've never left my corner, no matter how bad I was losing. So I appreciate that as a fighter.
Yeah, I can't go against my friends, and Jacob Chavez and BJ Flores, they're my friends, and whoever it is. If Jake Paul fights him 100 times, and he's probably going to lose 100 times, I'm going to go with Jake Paul 100 times to win. Yeah, because those guys are my guys.
Well, I'll say you made a very interesting point. I think you can go back and look at the fight, and you can definitely say in the Tyron Woodley fight, Tyron should have won the fight, and Tyron could have won the fight, but Tyron didn't win the fight. I mean, that's just the way it is. It's one of those fights where we watched it, and he should have won the fight, but he didn't. And that's saying something good about Tyron, but it's also saying something bad about Tyron, more bad about Tyron than good, actually. But it's also saying something good about Jake, because Jake won an unwinnable fight. Because when you say Tyron should have won the fight, that means he looked better, he was better, he was more experienced. He had every single attribute going into this fight, including the experience and the nerve handling and the crowd and everything to win the fight. But he didn't fucking win the fight, and he didn't win the fight not by a crazy knockout or by a fluke or something. He legitimately didn't win the fight, and so that tells you that there's something. There's a lot of things with fighters that I'm sure that you can agree with me. There's a lot of things with fighters you can't describe that give them an advantage or a disadvantage in a fight, and I say that gives Jake Paul an advantage. The fact that he went out there and beat not an unbeatable, but I'm just saying a fight that when you look at after the fight, he should have still lost the fight. It's not like you watch it afterwards and you're like, wow, he destroyed him.
Jake Paul should have lost that fight. You're correct. Jake Paul should have lost that fight. Should have lost that
but
fight.
He didn't,
because Woodley, with all his experience and his abilities, should have went out there and took care of business, and he didn't. And it was because, I'm telling you, his corner, because I was in on it. They told me everything, and we talked about it, and they knew. They studied every scenario, and they studied the fact that he doesn't pull the trigger, and they probably put that in Jake's head, come back at this guy. He hits you with something, get going, come back, because you can't, because I've seen Woodley fight so many times. When he's on the money, you can't stop him.
Yeah, he's a beast.
But you got to stop him before he gets on the money.
Right.
Once he's on the money, he's an unstoppable machine. He really is. But once you put a hesitation, like there's a potential danger, he kind of holds off.
Yeah.
And that's what I had that conversation with those guys that he does do that. And sure enough, that's what he did. And again, if they fought again, which I think if they did fight again, I think there would be interest, who knows what will happen, but you'll definitely see a better version of both, you'll definitely see Tyron come in a lot more aggressive, but also you're going to see Jake Paul up another level. Now the nerves are going to be gone, and dealing with that amount of people there and dealing with someone of his level, because that was the first time he actually fought, let's face it, he actually fought a real fighter.
Yeah,
this is his first fight, I guess. A
real striker, yeah.
Woodley,
or at least a guy who trains the striking.
Good. I was impressed. Yeah. I was impressed with the way he looked. He just didn't do enough output.
Yep, no, I agree.